Okay. So I was going to have the vendors go ahead and do an introduction. You guys kind of talk about what you do and what you provide for the special needs community. We had a meeting with the mayor either last Friday or a couple Fridays ago, and Julie, who's on this call, mentioned something really neat, which was a resource fair, but that's going to take some time to get to do in person. But I think this is a really great start for people who might be looking for services in Hemet because we're really lacking it out here. That or we just don't know where to look out here because it's really hard to find those services. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for everybody to introduce themselves, and then afterwards we can have the parent Q&A. Obviously, it's just me and Christian right now, but if anybody joins in, that'd be awesome. And then, yeah, maybe we can put our heads together for how we can better serve the area. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the next slide, and I just kind of put your names down. And then, I don't know, maybe give you guys like 5 minutes each to talk about what you do. Does that sound good? Yeah, okay. Looks like we've got a mama coming in. Yay. All right. So if you just got here, we're going to start doing vendor introductions and parent Q&A afterwards. We're going to give the vendors 5 minutes each to talk about what they do. I'm going to go ahead and get my timer ready. And then when the time is up, I'll just switch it to a different slide. So hopefully that works, or I can tell you guys time. All right, so the first one up is Roland with 5678 Communicate. So you're up, Roland. I'll put myself on mute.
Hi, everyone. So I'm no picture for me just yet because I'm in the process of getting off the freeway. So let me get off the freeway and park so that you can see my face. But yeah, my name is Roland and I'm a speech and language pathologist. I'm the owner of 5678 Communicate Speech Therapy Inc. 5678 because I am a dancer, and so hopefully my hope one day is for me able to have enough students interested to be able to do like dance classes for kids with special needs. That would be super awesome to do. But at the moment, I'm providing the speech therapy services. And then I also have a friend who does yoga. And I have a friend, well, actually downstairs below my clinic is this dance studio. And the hope that while the student is receiving speech therapy services, the parent can also have time to take care of themselves with some self-care that is very usually not a lot of time for the parent to do that, right? And so they can have like a little yoga class or downstairs for the dance class or whatever may have you that in the future that would be of interest. I can probably coordinate that as well. Yes, I'm also Hanen certified, which as you can probably see, I've been posting about the class that I started yesterday. So if there is any interest or questions about the Hanen course, let me know.
Thank you, Roland. Hi, Roland. I can see you now.
Hi.
Hi. All right. You still have a couple minutes left. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, just looking to see how I can be of service.
Okay.
But to you guys, if you have any questions. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so first of all,
Awesome.
where are you located? And two, could you talk to us a little bit about the Hanen method?
Yes. So I'm located in Riverside by the Riverside Plaza, across the street from the Riverside Plaza. However, if schedules allow and whatnot, I can probably make my way out to Hemet to come to your house. But as of right now, my clinic is in Riverside. Give me just 1 second here. And then the Hanen method is more of a program to empower the parents, as the parents are a vital component to the child's progress, right? And so there are strategies. I'm gonna park right here so you guys can hear me without driving, and also much safer to do so. Okay. Yes. So the Hanan program is more of a parent training to empower those parents, to provide them with the skills that would help them at home with the children. One of the main strategies is to be an owl, right? And so we want to teach you guys to observe, wait, and listen, to help you and see what the child is interested in, and use that main interest to be helpful to unlock the communication piece and the engagement piece, along with other strategies as well. So the program itself has the 4 I's, the 4 S's, strategy, and also the rock method, and we go over all of those methods. So the 4 I's is to imitate, interpret, interrupt, and include the interest, and then also the rock method, which is lots of repetition, right? Using a lot of repetition, having the opportunity to have them give the response, cue if needed, and keep it fun. Again, having that interest for them, keeping it fun, always trying to find what they're interested in to help them be motivated to have that social engagement piece and the interaction, and also the 4 S's as well, which those 4 S's kind of are geared towards how one learns a second language. So kind of addressing language development and acquisition that way, but also being able to allow the parents to provide all the strategies at home. It also includes 3 sessions at home that I go into the house, and my partner as well go into the house. We kind of record a little interaction with you and your son or daughter to see how the strategies are going and then how to tweak them over. But yeah, so those methods are more so how to empower you on how to be able to engage at home with your son or daughter and help them unlock and engage more at home.
Thank you, Roland. Okay, we're going to move on to the next vendor. Our next vendor is James with Included Education. Is he here today? I don't think I saw him. James. Nope, I don't see him. I will message him and see where he's at. Okay. And then the next one, Christian, I think what we should do is 5 minutes per vendor, and then at the very end, let's do Q&A for all of them. Yeah? Okay, sounds good. Awesome. All right, so the next one we have is Julia, and she is supposed to be from, I think it's Wildebeest Music Conservatory. I don't see her in here either, so I'll send her a message. And then we have Tiffany with Mentoring Tiny Humans.
Hi, I'm having technical difficulties. Can you skip me and come back to me? Or am I the last one?
Yeah, no, that's fine. We can come back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
No
everyone.
problem.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we have Julie with Disability Sport.
Hi. Our whole mission is to bring more adaptive sports to the Inland Empire. I am a mom with a child on the spectrum, so I live this life as well as try to help others. I started it by trying to make things better for my son and realizing there were many more individuals like my son that needed support, and that once they grow out of being a child at a playground, that their needs didn't go away. They don't grow out of their disability. So it was an effort, or my mission is to support them from 2 to 102. So regardless of your age, regardless of your disability, if you want to play a sport, our mission is to get people off the sidelines and into the game so that, especially our kids, that they watch their siblings at gymnastics, at football, at basketball, at whatever, and they sit on the sidelines, and it's about time that our kids get in the game and that their siblings watch them. That's my mission. And so with that, I try to do as much as I can, funding being obviously the biggest obstacle for us, because I try not to charge families for anything that they do to participate with us. So I got the dates recently. We have dates coming up for our inclusive social skills program in Temecula. So it's in conjunction with the city of Temecula. In the spring, we do it at one of the special needs parks and in March. And then in April, we move over to the splash pad when they turn the water on. So we get the parks exclusively to us, and I bring out some activities and some sports, and the city comes out with things, and we try to make it as pleasant and calming an opportunity as possible for the kids to come and play with their peers and try to bring in as much social engagement as possible. So parents are welcome, caregivers, or therapists. If you have your ABA, you're welcome to bring them as well. So we try to bring those opportunities. So we have that one coming up starting in March 20th. We start, and it'll be March 20th, the 27th, and April 3rd. Then again, April 20th. No, April 13th. I'm confused. So Wednesdays from March 20th to April 3rd. It's Wednesdays from 4 to 6 at Friendship Park in Temecula. And then beginning April 13th, we will go to the splash pad, and it'll be every Saturday from 9 to 11 for 3 weeks. So whatever days those work out to be. So we have social skills. We also have, right now on the 25th of February, we're bringing in, or we're going to start practices up again for beat baseball. And that happens to be baseball for the blind. So our bases buzz, our balls beep. We actually throw it, they bat and play baseball like everybody else. It just in an adapted fashion. And so we have blind baseball, we have the social skills programs, and I'm trying to bring in other things, but those are all in the works, so I can't say anything at this point, but we're working on more. So our whole goal is to bring more sports to people living with a disability and change, instead of that person adapting to the sport, is the sport adapts to them. And if you want to play it, I will find out a way that works for you. That's the goal. That's the mission. And so anything that I can do, if you know something that you would like to try, and Roland, I would love to talk to you about trying to do a dance class. So,
oh yeah, you got it.
I just wrote all your info down, so I'm like, I would love to reach out and figure out how we could do a special needs dance class. That would be awesome. So that I just want people to be more active and more engaged, and with that comes improved health, improved morale, and improved relationships. And there's a lot of scientific studies that saying being physically active is beneficial in a multitude of ways. So I'm trying to make that happen. So if you know a sport or you want to try, let me know and we'll see if we can make it happen. We are based in Temecula, but we are willing to move around and go to Hemet and go to wherever in the Inland Empire we are needed and wanted. So I know I probably have more time, but I don't know what else to say other than that's my mission.
Thank you. No, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Okay, the next one I had was Chelsea, but she's answering right now. I see that James just popped on. So let me see. James, we're giving all the vendors 5 minutes to introduce themselves and what they can do for the special needs community. If you're ready, would you like to take that 5 minutes?
Sure, I can do that.
Awesome.
All right, so I guess I'm Mr. James with Include Education, and as the name implies, it's very inclusive. We try to accommodate as all the needs that we can. So anything that we're doing, we try to accommodate just about anything. So if you let us know the best way that your child learns, we will do our very best to modify what we're doing to make that a good fit. Our instructors, many of them have worked in other settings with special needs kiddos as their background. So they come in with that experience. Plus, then we add our own training on top of that. So it's one of the things that we're very proud of, that whether we have kiddos on the spectrum, ADHD, anything like that, we're able to work with you to make it the best experience possible. And that's stuff like robotics. We do video game design, hands-on science and engineering, even 3D printing, Lego challenges, stuff like that is all the types of things that we offer. So we're here as a resource, and we'd love to see what we can do to put together some programs for the community that could be specifically tailored for the kiddos they need the most. I don't have any more than 5 minutes, so unless there's specific questions and stuff, I'm happy to kind of answer. So
yeah, so we're going to do the parent Q&A right after everybody does an introduction, and then there's a few parents in here, so we'll definitely do a Q&A. And then since you chimed on later, it is on recording because I wanted to be able to show everyone else after the meeting is done, just in case they weren't able to hop on for whichever reason. And it looks like this is off topic, but it looks like Chelsea with Airtopia is going to chime in later too. But yeah, you guys will all be able to watch the re-recording afterwards, and then hopefully, we can put our heads together for some really great programs. All right, the next one, let's see, we did, Julia's not here. Tiffany, I wasn't sure if you were ready, or do you want me to wait?
I'm ready. On that note, hi everyone. I'm Tiffany with Mentoring Tiny Humans. So myself and my son are neurodivergent individuals, and I host classes, field trips. Here he comes. Classes, field trips, community events, sensory spaces for the community. I offer consultation services, and the like. He's coming. And we have weekly classes, which I guess will lead into our class. Okay, hey, ready? Yeah. Do you want to help show off the cat really quickly? Yeah. Can I talk for just a moment? Because I just have a couple seconds to be able to talk. Okay, but they can see him, so we can show him how calm he is, okay? So I do host some weekly classes as by request. So they're taught in a neuro-affirming environment. I am an AAC user. That's what I was trying to get a hold of, because I'm like, I have select mutism, so it's hard to talk in front of people sometimes. It happens. I felt it was better than turning my back on you guys, because sometimes that's a good tool I have. Anyways, so yes, we are, I teach in a neuro-affirming environment. We kind of, oh, hold on. They can see the cats. Thank you so much. So, okay, but hey, I'm still talking. Okay, so just give me 1 second. So I will go ahead and link my website in the chat. It has a description of my classes. We usually do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Our most popular is our Fundamentals of Learning with Felines. That's a big classroom. Actually, can you go get Cecil? Can you try and find him gently and maybe call him and see what we've been doing with our training, so we can show off how great he's learning. And so we also have our Learning with Lego. And I apologize, let me know if this is distracting, but hopefully for the parents, you understand, and we can gather and talk. But we also have our creative writing and journaling. So that's for really reluctant writers. That's my son. So we do a lot of indirect writing and the like. We also have like yearbook club and host one-off events, tours, field trips. Hey, great job being so gentle with him. Yeah, he's got a lot of patience. And then we also, again, do community services. We're doing a celebration and graduation ceremony. So just, you don't have to be graduated. You could just have learned to tie your shoes or anything that you're accomplished with. Okay, I have about 2 more minutes. Well, 1 more minute. Can you keep it to him? Okay, so they can hear my voice. Okay, so that was way more scattered than anticipated, but also just the scatter, just in a different way. I apologize. I also have an online shop. I sell tie-dye. I do tie-dye workshops. I'm a professional dyer. Sales from our shop do help fund our free and low-cost events, such as our board game days, our community events at the libraries. Our cat is a therapy cat, so we take him places and we travel with him. And I can't do it without anybody's support, to be frank. I'm doing it anyways, but to be frank, that's the goal. And then I can, provide all of these cool services. And I just wanted to create this. Oh yeah, I have a purpose. I wrote this stuff down, I promise. So I just wanted to create a space for my son and myself. 8 years ago, there wasn't anything really for us to learn to have a safe space. I think we give a little too much credit to any child, no matter what neurotype or disability, that they can somehow not make mistakes or, be functioning and do what they need to do in society. To not cause embarrassment. And sometimes we just need a safe place for our kids to learn, to grow, and to make those mistakes and then talk about it. So that's it. Okay, now I can't talk anymore. So thanks, I think that's the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I turn my camera off for a second, okay?
No worries. Thank you. All right. So if you're just hopping on, this is a recorded call because we wanted to give other people a chance to watch the recording later and find out about different vendors in the area or that are willing to come to our area here in Hemet. We now have, we heard about Julie, and Chelsea said she would chime on soon. She was running an errand, I believe, for the vendor. She's an outreach person. And then Jenny, are you here?
Hi, my name is
Hi.
Georgianne. So I'm Angel View Outreach, and we've been around for about 70 years. We're popular in the desert. So the Angel thrift stores are what a lot of people know us for. And we do cover all of Riverside County. But right now I'm in charge from banning all of west side of Riverside County. So we brought it to Hemet because we're trying to reach more families. And what we do is we help kids with disabilities, physical or developmental. We also advocate for IEP, which is very popular. One of our popular programs is the TRIP program, which is mileage reimbursement for their medical appointments. It includes anything from urgent care visits, ER visits, all therapy visits. If they're at school, we don't cover those. But anything else, the ABA therapies and stuff like that. We also offer referrals. And this is why I'm here, is because I need resources for Hemet and Hemet, Jacinto, Temecula area, all this west side of Riverside County, which we don't have resources because we came from the desert. So our other one is our mini grant. It's called the mini grant medical supplies. So what we do is we have about $400 per child because some parents have multiple kids with disabilities. So $400 for medical supplies or equipment that your insurance doesn't cover. And then we also do put them in sports in the summer. We pay about up to $100 for their registration fee. And then the mileage is only 2,500 miles for 1 year per child. And we were 1,000 miles every 6 months, and then they used to renew, but we just recently changed it because of funding, because we need more children that we're helping so that they can release more funding for that. So and right now I am based in the Hemet thrift store. And to apply, all we need is a medical diagnosis letter, either from the IEP or from the doctor, and their birth certificate. And if they're, and they gotta be, we're income based, so they gotta be under the guidelines. And what else? So if Hemet is too far for you to apply, I will come and meet you. I just can't come to your home. I can come to like a Starbucks, a library. We do go to events, which I'm also been trying to look for around here in the area of Hemet, San Jacinto, Temecula, which I found a little bit, not as much as I would have thought, because it's bigger over here. So, no, and like I said, a lot of people think we're just the thrift store, but the thrift store actually helps fund this program for the kids with disabilities. So the disabilities range from like autism, anxiety, depression, and anything physical, and Down syndrome, any developmental. I think that's about it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, let me pause my timer really quick, and then let's see who is next. Looks like Chelsea's coming in. That's awesome. Let's see here. Chelsea, let me know when you can hear us.
I don't know if you can see me. Sure.
I think it's just the, there you are. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi.
Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. All
Sorry,
right.
I'm in my car.
No worries at all. Okay, so you can, I know you have a lot going on right now, so you can just chime in real quick. All the vendors have taken 5 minutes to introduce themselves and what they can do to provide for the special needs community. And then afterwards, like right after you, it starts the parent Q&A for anybody that has questions about any vendors. It is a recorded call because I wanted to be able to upload it later for other people to see and ask questions. So have at it. I'll put my timer on.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I can't see anyone. I can only see our host, but I'm Chelsea. I'm the community coordinator. I used to work at Uptown Jungle, and I used to work for Aerosports. So when I worked for Aerosports, it turned into Jungle Gyms, and I had set up a special needs time there during the summers on Thursdays. And it ended up being very, very popular, and I was very sad that we didn't cancel it, we just moved, so we couldn't continue doing it. But we are working on a program for your families. Today, we just put up these, and I was gonna have it for this meeting. I'm sorry, everyone. There is a little form on the front when you come up to the front desk, and it is for parents to let our staff know if your children have any special needs so that we can be made aware of it. It makes sure that our court monitors are keeping an eye on your kids a little bit extra, just because we've had some stuff happen, and later on the parents told us, oh, he's on the spectrum or something like that, and some of my kids didn't even know what that meant. You know, it's their first job. So that is what sparked it, and they get a pretty little shiny wristband. I know some of you guys have some sensory issues, so if it's a problem, we'll figure something else out, but we did want to make sure that you guys were being like watched after, and you guys, because we have a great staff. If a kid goes missing in our building, we do a code orange. That means the front and back doors are locked. We ask everyone to sit down, and then our security team and our court monitors scour the area to find your children. And until we find them, there is no unlocking, there's no one leaving in or out. And it went over for the first time last Saturday. It never did it, didn't even practice it, and it went off perfectly. I was shocked. I had a million compliments from the parents. It was awesome. So in the future, because I need to get some time to train my staff to be able to, I want to be able to trust them with your kids, you guys. So in the future, we will be offering a special needs time separate from the public. I can't say when that's going to be just yet, but it is something that I have been planning since I met our owner. And everything inside is very accessible. Even the soft play area for the younger kids. We have our indoor play park area that's for the older kids. I'd love for you guys to come and introduce yourself to me. Look for me, I'm Chelsea, because there are tons of things that your kids would love to do that would keep them just exhausted for the rest of the day. Honestly, I really want you guys to come check it out, because what it does for their little bodies and their little minds, it's such a great workout. And so I just want you guys to come check it out. All right, Q&A for anybody.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me check the cameras really quick. Let me make sure that Julie didn't end up coming on. Okay. That's okay. Were there any other vendors that I missed?
Sorry.
Were there any other vendors that I missed before we do Q&A?
Hi, my name is Judith. I'm not a vendor, but I am here. I'm the public information officer for the Hemet Police Department. So I am the one that posted in the group saying that we're looking, trying to start an event. So I am here just in case, just, to look out what we have to offer, what we can do to see what we can help, and what we can do to get this event started.
Okay, awesome. Judith, like I said, we had recorded the meeting, so you can come back and watch the recording. I'll post it in the autism group. That way you can kind of see where everyone's coming from and what they do. But for now, we have the Q&A, and I think we have a few moms in here. Yeah, so go ahead if you guys have questions, ask away. Christian, do you have anything?
Hi, no, actually I'm good. I was able to Google Roland and his company, and all the answers are there pretty much for everyone else. So basically my questions were like, where you located? What's the age range? Kind of like that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I do know from experience with Roland and I actually went to high school together.
That's so
We
cool.
went to high school together. And he was my first salsa partner, right?
Go salsa.
Anyway, so he actually served my son, who is severe has severe autism and needs speech therapy, and he's an awesome speech therapist. So if anybody here has a severe kiddo and you're looking for in-home speech, go to Roland. He's amazing. And he came to us in Hemet, even though like his services mainly take place in the Riverside area. So I really appreciated that. And then Julie, I've never met in person before, but she's been helping me in the background a lot with the letter to the city manager and the mayor, and trying to see what we can do to get a support Steve playground going. And then James actually is a Girl Scout dad, and I think I've seen him at a few Cookie Boss events, and my daughter's been to one of his events before. And James, have you had, like, have any of your teachers served the mod severe? Because I know, like, with my daughter being mild mod, it's easier to find services for her, but like for my son, it's a little bit harder. So have there been any teachers that have served the mod severe?
I would have to check to see exactly that, because it's not what we don't get a lot of that in our classes, and so we would set something up specifically for there. However, I know they were in working for places where they were the one-on-one aid. So my guess would be to the affirmative, most likely yes, but
Okay.
I don't want to promise that. But we do have even in a lot of our classes, we do have students who will join who have a one-on-one aide who come in with them and stuff. And of course we do that in our classes that are open to everyone, because we do feel it's important just to have that mix. So it's good for all students to have all kids to have other kids of various abilities, and challenges and stuff that they can build that empathy if they're all in one space together interacting. So but we've had that quite a bit. So, but yes, I would say, to answer your question, I'm going to say yes, but I can't guarantee it.
Okay, got it. And then which areas are you mainly in again? It's Temecula is one of them, right?
Yeah, we're pretty well. We have locations that we're at throughout Southern California, but Riverside County specifically, and we have quite a few locations all over. So as far south as Temecula, but we're in Eastvale going one direction. We're in Riverside, another direction, places in between. So Menifee, a few different places. But we're always looking for new locations too. So if someone has a spot where they'd like us to do some classes and can help us get connected with a place, either a church or another business that would like to allow us to use some space there to set up some programs, we're happy to do that, even if it was just for a single day type of event. We'd love to do it.
Okay. Chelsea, does your Airtopia have like any rooms that could be used as a classroom, or is that just
Yes.
for birthday
So
parties?
James and I already know each other.
Oh, cool.
We've worked together since I worked for Uptown Jungle in 2019. So we are very familiar, and I have had him have his classes when I worked at Uptown Jungle and Aero Sports. I've already talked to my owner about stuff in the future. He wants to, just so you know, James, he wants to do summer camp stuff next year. He wants to get okay. So don't worry, I already told him about you. But I want to absolutely offer our party rooms for den mom meetings. I've had people reach out to me about that already. Youth groups, stuff like that. I would just, for weekday stuff, just give it to you, honestly. Don't quote me on it because I might get in trouble later, but I've already spoken to our owner about it, and I was like, can I? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So just so you guys know, we have huge, awesome party rooms.
Awesome. Okay. I'm checking out the chat right now. It looks like Roland had to go. Julie asked for the email. Tiffany put up a flyer, a couple flyers, and a class schedule. Awesome. I've never done this before. Can I click on the flyer to expand it in Zoom? Is that possible?
I
Because I
honestly,
just
I
did.
have no clue.
Okay.
I
Yes,
don't
you
know.
can, because I already
Oh
did
yeah,
it
look.
and looked at it. So yeah, you can.
You can. Okay. I will
And
yeah.
I think it should be on that flyer. I'll upload it. But we are kind of set apart because we, have that dedicated sensory space. We have, the calming corner, the parent participation. Like, I encourage parents to come. Yesterday we did muddy puddles, so thankfully the parent was there that we could that I could secretly tell her, hey, do you want to do muddy puddles? Before I told the kids, and then we did muddy puddles. But without them there, like, we couldn't have done our science. Well, it kind of turned into science, but we kind of just lead with like a child-led kind of basis. So I wrote that in the chat, but just kind of like, feel free to message me if you have any questions. I usually put in all of our events, like the accommodations, so before you even like join us what's up. But I don't know everything. I like to think so. Sometimes it comes across that way, but I don't. I do know about our, special needs community as being, part of it with my son. But again, I don't know everything. I can, and I'm willing to work with people. I am a small business. I can only do so much. But again, I'm willing to accommodate IEPs and such like that because I'm used to it. And it's kind of it. We're all kind of in this together. And my son wants friends. So that's kind of also why I do it as well. So
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go through the chat really quick just to make sure I catch it all in the recording. So Tiffany put she's in Menifee and she travels depending on the event, and her website is mentoringtinyhumans.com. And she says, what sets our events and classes apart? You have a neurodiverse instructor, small class sizes and events, dedicated sensory space, front loading and sensory breaks, flexible classes. Come when you can, and I encourage and allow parent and caregiver participation in classes. I think that is huge, especially like with my kids, I have like one of each. So I have one that can, go on her own pretty well. And then I have another one that needs the one-on-one. And that makes a big difference because the kiddos that need the one-on-one, those are the hardest services to find.
Mhm.
And
And
then
James actually knows, we all, a couple of us know each other. I know James a lot. And he actually works with Miss Reshma, our art teacher. So at our location, we have like a class that is probably for the older kids and those that don't need a lot of redirection or parent involvement. And that class is so quiet. I'm like, is this class okay? And it's great for them. But then we have like a different class that's for the ADHD. I sit with my son to kind of break things down so we get to do the project together. And so, she's also, I just shout her out. She's been really encouraging too. So we have her at Menifee at our location, but she also works like throughout Temecula Valley, and she's at EEE Learning Centers in Temecula as well. So she's familiar, and she is pretty open to the needs of what you need. Like I said, in Menifee, I've kind of just told her, we're going to create this class. I will get the people involved. I'll get them there. Don't you worry. You'll get what you need. They get what they need. And so she's, it's a learning process. Like my son is a Gestalt processor, and he also, I call it like spelling bee education. So we need the guy to give him the whole project and then go back and break it down in steps. And she wasn't necessarily recognizing that. And so, with no fault of her own, it's just, we know our children. And so I was able to voice that comfortably just because of the dynamic that she allows all of us parents to have. She was so receptive, and she's like, oh, okay. So she immediately, like I noticed, without her saying anything, already like changed up her way of teaching for the rest of the class and then moving forward. So I just like to shout her out. I have no like money affiliation with her. I just an enthusiastic parent, and then also wanted to shout out, she's at Included as well. And he's got some pretty good vendors as well. My son's taking a few classes there.
Yeah, thank you for that too. And I'll vouch for that too. Miss Reshma, her art classes, she will accommodate, and she will she will make sure everyone's involved. And not only that, I'm going to throw it out there too. The artwork that they make is truly amazing. Like you're looking at it and you're like, my kid did this? Are you sure? But they did. Trust me. My daughters have taken classes with her, and they bring back stuff it's up on the wall. I got a rooster right up there. I can see it that my daughter made, and it looks like you bought it from a store. Like it's incredible. So she does great work. So I'm glad you mentioned her, Tiffany. That's a
yesterday. I made a flamingo. I drew one because I have to sit with my son because I pretend, of course, that like I'm not helping him, but he needs things done, broken down, and I get to do the artwork too. I drew a flamingo. I was very excited, and and all the kids the kids were fine. They got to do one too, but it's really like encouraging, and it's like such a fun environment, and she's really like receptive. So, and I also want to shout out that I've been to EEE Learning Center in Temecula. They are like wheelchair accessible. They're got very wide things, and I like to say that because not a lot of vendors I notice when I go places. It's just very ample space. I know it's like the location in the building, but that helps for some of the wheelchair users or the stroller wagon users to kind of just know and have that open space when you go. So I can vouch for that location in that aspect.
Awesome. I know that Melissa was asking, is there a way to get a list of each vendor, summarize services, and contact info and websites? I wrote down like some notes of what each of you said, so I can add that to the PowerPoint and then maybe turn that PowerPoint into a PDF and put it on the autism website. Would each of you mind sending me a PM with like your contact info and I think I was successful in finding all of your websites. That's how I got the screenshots. And then I can put some bullet points of what you do. But yeah, I'm really excited that we were able to get together and chat. I know it wasn't a lot of parents that came, but at least it's recorded and it's here as a resource for them to look at later. So you guys know that, I live out in Hemet, and my main goal is to make sure that, people in Hemet feel seen and that they get the services that they need, because a lot of times, I think I speak for a lot of us, we travel out a lot to get the services that we need to go to the parks we want to go to. There's my son in the background. So
He'll get along with mine.
what's that?
He'll get along with mine. Here comes
Yeah.
mine. I wish we could have like maybe we could split them into their own like breakout room. So they
I
can
know,
sit next
right?
to us.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm really excited that Chelsea jumped on, and to learn that, you know, her and James have a connection together, and there was talk about, you know, use of a classroom space. When I did speak to the mayor, he did say that Simpson Center is now reopened, because at first it wasn't ADA compliant. I think, Julie, am I saying that right? And they got it all fixed.
I don't remember why it was closed, but I know he said that it was reopening, and so it might be a good space to have a resource fair. So depending on who the contact is with the city of Hemet, and that community, I forgot what he called that person.
You
I
ready?
wrote it down.
Okay, go.
Community Solutions Coordinator,
Okay, go.
whatever that means.
You just need to
But
sit.
if that person, if they hire that person, then maybe we can work with them and get something,
You don't have
maybe by, it does take some time to coordinate something like that. But if you get something set up, say by the beginning or right around the beginning of the coming school year, so everybody knows everything that's going on, or maybe by summer so they can have ideas of what to do over the summer. But they just need to hire that person so that you can get in touch with them to set it up. Or if you have contacts within the Hemet Unified School District, because I know Temecula does a resource fair for specifically geared toward the special needs community. And so maybe you could do a resource fair through the school district, and to do the same thing, because then they're a lot faster at getting something done for their students. Well,
and the
in theory.
PTA sometimes, yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, if you go to the special education department within the school district and ask them for a resource fair so that their special needs families know what's available to them.
I also know if you contact local like newspapers and stuff, they and like companies online, I work a lot with like Matt Kids, and they like can create things. Like, so it sounds big, but like I just like that's a lot of what I do is I just call and I ask and tell people what I'm gonna do, and then I just kind of present them with the ideas and do all the work for them. I'm not suggesting that we do that here. But when you partner, like, so I've partnered with certain businesses and things like that, and it's like a profitable thing, but then they do that tail end of the work, and then it ends up, you know, having a building, having a location. It has nothing to do with the city. So, okay, if it, you know, gets to that point. But I like her idea. And also she's having, aren't you having your, can you tell us what you're having tomorrow? Julie, I'm so sorry. I don't want to get it wrong, but what you're doing tomorrow.
No, tomorrow it's not me, it's actually the city of Menifee. The city of Menifee is doing an adaptive sports fair. Tomorrow, I can post the flyer in the chat.
You'll be there,
They
right?
are doing an adaptive sports fair, so I am actually there just as an informational booth. I'm not actually doing the any of the sports. I found out about it late. Someone told me about it, and so it's going to happen, rain or shine. So just so you know, if you're going to come out, just dress warm, I guess. I'm trying.
For Judith,
But
oh, sorry. Did I interrupt you?
no,
Go ahead. You can finish. Oh, okay.
I'm looking for the flyer. I'll post it as soon as I find it.
Okay. Judith, you said you were going to do something for autism awareness?
So pretty much like with our department, we're trying to get like community events started. My goal is to create some type of we have another officer at work as well that I'm trying to pair up with him. So he's in contact with the Inland Empire Autism, something like that. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. It's some type of society or group.
Inland
Um,
Regional Center.
It's not the Inland Regional. It's let me see if I have the name of it real quick. Because I did have it. It's called, oh, it's the Autism Society of Inland Empire.
Got it.
So that's the organization that we're trying to see if we can connect with. But as well as I wanted to connect with local, vendors in here in the city of Hemet, and not just making like a fun thing for like kids to come out and kind of have some sensory activities. I want it to be safe. But also as like a safety fair where we can provide those kind of resources, like how she was mentioning. That's literally my goal, is just to start, host the first event. And especially because we're city department, we're city run. It goes through the city. So the city will be connecting, and I think that'd be great, especially I know what you guys are trying to do and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that would be really helpful, because then I can start bringing that up to our meetings. That then goes to the council meetings as well. Anytime we have meetings and stuff like that. So when if we start this event, it pretty much go through, I start listing vendors, I start listing people's names, which I think is helpful in the long run, because then at the time, like, I know you guys are trying to get like the attention of like the city manager and stuff. And we
Right.
have ties to them. So
Okay. That's awesome.
So I could just throw out there too, if you're for big events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If Include Education comes out, we can set up a whole thing, and we do big things there. We bring robotics out and stuff that we can have
that's really cool.
things that really like it becomes a little added attraction to the event as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No,
too.
see, that's exactly why I was like, I need to join this meeting. As a mom, like, I literally had no idea this kind of stuff was out here even. I homeschool my son, so I'm really like out of touch with other autistic parents and stuff. So just
There's
getting
a lot
to
of us out
know,
there.
I really enjoy like, getting to know that. I was like, oh, I didn't even know there was a group. I was in the Go Bananas group, and someone tagged me and said, join this one. So it's nice, I live here locally, I work here locally, and I'm a mom. So it's like, I would like to participate in things like this, especially when I feel passionate about it.
And
That's
if
awesome.
anybody
I'm
needs
so
like
glad
a
that you
sensory,
joined.
Thank you
if
guys for
anybody
having
needs
me.
like a sensory space or anything like that, I provide them
Yeah.
as well. Like if I can't come out with it, then, as long as there's volunteers, like we have different things. I have sensory stations. What do I have? What are those, the little water beads, which again, I only usually bring out if I'm there just because of toxicity and stuff.
Yeah.
But all of that stuff, and that's always fun. But we have like a lot of rice, and it's the majority of it is all non-toxic things like that. Well, it's all non-toxic, but we provide that as a free service just for the community and other places like that, because not everybody has it, and not everybody has all of the equipment or understands what we need, and sometimes you just need that separate space. So I provide that to whatever community event, and then whatever craft or whatever we can do and provide is there as well. We just try to foster community participation and understanding and awareness for the community, and a space for my son, and place for all of us.
Yeah, that's great.
Also, Judith, the Val Vista Library, I had called them back in January to see if they would do something for the special needs community. And every second Sunday, they are doing a sensory, it's new, it's called Sensory Play. And it's at 12 noon, the second Saturday of each month, they said, starting in February.
I have a printout of their calendar, so I have that on my fridge.
Yeah, it's on there. I saw an advertisement for it.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
I do try to keep it, especially because it's I was so used to always going to the Vala Vista Library. That's another thing, is I'm trying to get the Hemet Library to kind of start doing things like that as well. It's a lot of ideas. I know it's barely the new year. I'm in this new position. I'm just trying to bring the ideas to the table. And that's what they're looking for. They just really needed someone to kind of take charge and help kind of introduce these events. So I'm glad I'm there. I'm glad I get to, at least, hey, this is what we need. Let's do this.
That'd be awesome, because that in itself could be a resource there.
Yeah. And they're very, very supportive of it. So.
Okay. That's awesome. I think that's great, Judith. I think we have a resource fair. coming
Woohoo.
up.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I look
That'd be
forward to it.
great. Okay, cool. I'm so glad to know that they are supportive of it. I know I had one before we go, I had one experience where my son, as we homeschool as well, the adaptive PE teacher was out on the field with my son, and the Hemet PD was out there doing a training, I think, with their motorcycles. And I think they noticed, I mean, it's pretty obvious by now, my son is 7, and by now I think his disability is visible instead of invisible. Like with my daughter, you can't tell, with my son, you can. And he asked me, hey, is it okay sensory wise? Like, is it too loud over here? Like, it just seemed like he wanted to accommodate, and I just have to put this in the meeting and just let you know, like, how much that meant to me as a parent to hear that from an officer, because it's scary. It's like you want people to understand your child. He's done this thing before where we've gone on a neighborhood walk and he just decided, I don't want to walk anymore, and he sat down on the corner of a sidewalk, and I'm thinking to myself, oh gosh, if you get older and you do this, I don't even, like, are people going to understand why you're doing it, that you're overwhelmed, or are they going to think that you're on something? Those thoughts like go through your mind. So it was just really nice to see the awareness of disability from an officer. And I
At
really
least your son didn't go into someone's garage like mine does. He will actually walk into someone's house. So at least you didn't have that.
oh
Well,
my
you
goodness.
guys aren't alone. I promise you guys that. Like, for working for the Hemet Police Department, I was actually a community service officer before I came into this position. And let me tell you, my primary job is like missing persons or runaways and stuff like that. That includes like the autistic kids. I tell you guys, it happens way more frequently. I'm glad that we also have that program, but it's just a lot of it's just like they run out of the house, they're out of the gate, and parents turn around for 1 second and then they're gone. So don't feel alone. It happens literally to everyone. It's more occurring than I think people think about. And it's nice to see that. And I always reassure the parents, like, you're not alone. It's okay. We'll find them. We always do. It's
Yeah.
scary. It's definitely scary,
Let
but
me,
I'm
yeah,
really glad.
let me share a little tip that I got from the Temecula Police Department when we were
Yeah.
doing ABA with my son and ensuring that he would talk to a police officer. He's more verbal now than he was, but one of the things that they talked about, because my son is an eloper, is that always have a fresh scent. And so what they explained to me is that if you tell the police department, if your son disappears, your child disappears, and you tell them that you have a fresh scent, because they will immediately deploy dogs.
Yep.
Otherwise, you have to wait for that. They'll immediately deploy dogs if you tell them you have a fresh scent. One way to always ensure you have a fresh scent that's non-contaminated is that a shirt that my son's about to grow out of, or pajamas or something, I have him sleep in them all night. I wear rubber gloves, take it off him so that it doesn't have my scent on it, put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in an airtight container, and put it in the freezer. And I have it dated because they said it'll stay for about a year.
I think that's great. That's a great thing. I think I would
Wow.
definitely
And
tell
so
parents
then
that.
you can tell them you immediately you have a fresh scent,
Yep.
and that they
Yeah.
will bring out dogs, sniff it, and on your way to search. It's a
Yeah.
much faster way to get cut off that a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely.
So just a
Yeah, that's
tidbit that I
definitely
from
something.
the Temecula PD.
That's
That's awesome.
incredible.
That's awesome.
That's
That's a
incredible.
crazy thing that we actually have to think that way.
It is. It is.
But it's a useful tip for a horrible situation.
I think parents, like, especially like because I'm always the first on scene to show up and check the house, make sure they're not hiding somewhere. Like that, we have like our policy of how we go about it. But then like the last question would be like, so do you guys have something? And they're kind of like, wait, what do we need that for? I was like, well, I'm calling the canine now right now. So that way we can get them, located as soon as possible. So it's really cool to see that, and for parents, I feel like I'm glad, I'm hoping that, this fair and this event gets started, because that's the kind of stuff I want this community to come about, come and learn what source, resources we have. This is what you can do in case of an emergency. And things like that, like things that parents don't even, it's in the back of their mind that it might happen, but you never know when it will happen.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. Okay, it is 6 o'clock. I know everybody's like ready to go enjoy Friday.
Is it even Friday?
I think it is. Yeah.
I have a
Friday,
kid.
right?
It doesn't
know.
matter.
It is Friday.
Like the people at the grocery store, they're like, "Oh, what are you doing this weekend? Raising my child." Like,
I have to take my
you
daughter
know?
to a birthday party and then get Girl Scout cookies sold and then on to the next week. So
Yeah, they have more of a social life than I do. And then my cat, he has like 3 jobs. I'm like, what's it? Like, and I'm just like, I just want to be home.
yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Melissa, you've been sitting there. Do you have any questions before we go? Maybe she answered in chat. No? Okay. All right. So I'm going to end the recording.